pay transparency is definitely on the rise. What it is simply stated, and as you said, it is different in each state, and there's a couple municipalities that do it a little bit differently than their state. And if you remember from prior presentations that we gave, whatever the law is where the employee sits, where they do their work, they get the better of the law. So if the municipality has a better law that favors the employee more than their state law or the federal law, the employee gets that where they sit, that law, right? So it really makes it difficult for employers. And that's why, we send weekly updates on this stuff, and I can tell you we've had to send bi-weekly updates at the end of the year because there's so much. Pay transparency really says that employers need to be transparent on the salaries that they are offering for an open position when they post the ad. And let me just explain that a little bit further. Most of these laws, Mike, will tell employers that internally they have to post this as well. Do you see any issues there with me posting? Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
this is the thing that's getting people in so much trouble, and I'm glad you started where you did, because this is born of pay equality laws. Like it's been illegal to pay a woman less than a man to do the same job in the same circumstances, right? And so these laws are emerging as a way to kind of force the hand, create the transparencies, shine spotlight on issues to make sure that, like, if there is a discrepancy in pay, that there are good, valid legal reasons for it. It's not based on the things that are illegal to discriminate, age, gender, looks, whatever. It's based solely on job qualification.
Absolutely. And so look, we're right now in a difficult situation recruiting people. I will tell you that you will get, when we do recruitment strategy with our clients and I'm helping you write an ad, I will tell you get at least 50% more responses when you post the salary. Okay? But I think when you post the salary, if I post 100,000 to 200,000 for a position, the person applying automatically thinks they're going to get 200,000. So if you offer 150 because they don't have the top range of the experience, you may not get that person to accept the position. So you really, employers, when I'm writing ads with them now, we're really digging in. We're really taking a step back and maybe doing some salary surveys, some benchmarking, some salary grading for the position, so we know entry-level marketing position gets paid this. The next level has this many years experience and they get paid this. Employers really should have had this in the past, but they have to have it going forward. Colorado, I would say, is in effect now. Was in effect in 2022, and in my eyes, I really see it as the most restrictive. Maybe that's not the best word, but it has the most parameters around their pay transparency because it also includes promotional opportunities. So let's just say, and I had this exact example in an employer. The employer had a promotion opportunity. Of course, they looked internally first. They chose one individual over another individual. The other individual who did not get the position heard about it and said, well, you didn't even allow me. I didn't know it was open. You didn't advertise that promotion. And oh, by the way, because it's a promotional opportunity, you also have to tell us what the pay transparency is. And I say this to my employers all the time. I say, let me take care of the compliance. You take care of running your business, because your employees know more than you do half of the time, right? Yep. And so, even though these are very new laws, you really need to get on board with them. Number one, it's the right thing to do, and I think in the end it does help your organization. But I think the other reason is because you don't want somebody triggering a lawsuit, right? Saving
Right.
you time and money is what compliance, HR compliance 101, right? It's really the most important thing
I think
that
that's
we
going to be a
drive.
big thing. I was at dinner a few weeks ago with the CEO of a small, medium-sized software company, tech company. He's out of California, and he's having a terrible time complying with this. Good guy. He was not intentionally having pay disparities for people based on nefarious reasons, but as he's posting jobs, he's having to rethink how he is creating job bands and salary bands and comp bands and publishing all this to create the transparency, because as he's bringing people on he might have somebody who's paying X, and maybe there's a policy that when we promote someone, we don't give them more than a 10 or 15% raise, which maybe has seemed reasonable to that person for a very long time. But all of a sudden you're bringing someone new in and you got to pay them up here, and you create all these, bad feelings and inequity issues.
Yeah.
So
We're in an
he's kind of
inflationary period. So
Yeah,
it would stand to reason that your salaries would go up. But what employers need to think about when you have to adhere to these pay transparency laws is you got to fix your house before you go forward, right?
Right.
And we always say that, right? You got to shore up your house, when these laws come out. Look back before you look forward, but you definitely have to look forward. So in 2022, Colorado, New York City, Jersey City, Ithaca, New York, that was kind of a surprising one, and Westchester County. So Ithaca, New York, and Westchester, both in New York State. But as of December 21st, all of New York State got signed into law. So it will be all of New York, all of Colorado, and then, California and Washington started January 1st of this year. And again, each state is just a little bit different. So when we're working with our employers, and of course we have employers in every one of these states and multitude of different industries, we're working with them to figure out what's the range that you're going to give. And there's not a ton of parameters on the ranges. But I will tell you, some of these nuances, boy, they'll get you. Because in Washington State, you also have to put the benefits. And, if I'm writing an ad with an employer, I'm of course telling them you got to use your benefits in the ad, because that's the way you attract new employees, right? Benefits are probably neck and neck with salaries these days, because we know how expensive medical is. And another part of benefits, that I would add, not inclusive of this law, but is your time off. But this is a difficult law to adhere to. And we're really finding employers are having a hard time with this, but there is a way forward, right? So we certainly are helping employers with this. Fun fact, the states that have this pay transparency, Mike, law right now, as of 2023, all the states that I named represent about 22% of the current workforce.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. And, here's the challenging thing for companies that are posting remote positions. What do? Let's say the position can work anywhere. And that includes, I might be sitting in Chicago, Illinois, my company, but I'm hiring a remote position, and the person can work in New York, Colorado, Washington, or California. What do you do on that ad? You should put the pay transparency.
I was going to say, what do you do? Unless you explicitly,
that was a trick question.
unless you explicitly list these are the eligible states to work in, you have to list it. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't do that. You can't, you would have to have an employment reason, right? So anytime we say, you know, we won't hire this or we will hire this group of individuals, it has to be directly related to the position. So how are you going to justify that? Because I didn't want to give pay transparency? I'm pretty sure that's not going to pass muster with these states. Now you're discriminating against these states. I do not advise that.